The Pilot Custom Urushi in Vermillion may be the ultimate Grail fountain pen for me. I always saw it out there at the top of the catalog for Pilot, and I wondered, is this a fountain pen I would ever get the opportunity to use on a daily basis? It had this almost mystical allure for me. And then at the Atlas Stationer's sidewalk sale, I was able to get one. I mean, I tried it, and I had to have it. You know how that is. Some pens you cannot walk away from. Had a similar experience last year with the Watchman Edison. But this just really bit in deeply. And it made me wonder, is this sort of the ultimate Grail, the one that makes some other pens more redundant? I mean, it's a question to address. I know with me, I often follow my curiosity and it takes me to various places. But today what I'd really like to do is just run down what makes the Pilot Custom Urushi such an interesting fountain pen. So many different qualities in this pen that are unique to it and compelling. So perhaps by the end, you'll agree as I do, the Pilot Custom Urushi in Vermillion may very well be the ultimate Grail fountain pen. Let's talk about this together. So I think the first thing that you're going to notice and encounter with this fountain pen is its material. The Roriro Urushi in this gorgeous vermilion red. It's luminous. It just leaps out at you. It's just so pretty on the face of it. There are few things more compelling than a beautiful pen that's just beguiling in your hand while you use it. So one of the joys that I love about fountain pens, that as I write, I'm inspired by the instrument through which my words and thoughts are being manifest on the page. That's rare. I rarely, when I'm typing on a computer, take a moment to marvel at the keyboard. Sometimes with an Apple product, but it is rare. But with a fountain pen, it propels me along, helps to keep my thoughts moving. So this fountain pen has been out since 2016, so it's about 9 years since we've had this glorious top-of-the-line fountain pen. So it might be helpful to speak a little bit about what Urushi is. It is a substance that's a natural lacquer that's been used in decoration in Japan for approximately 10,000 years. So this goes way back. It comes from the sap of a tree. It's added with pigments. It is applied in beautiful layers. One layer needs to dry before the next one is applied. It's built up and it gives it this incredible warmth, this incredible quality. It's very hard. It's very resilient. It is immune to most natural corrosive substances. So it makes it a perfect material to make a beautiful fountain pen from. An interesting fact that I didn't know before I did the research for this video is that the Urushi oil that's used in this lacquering process can give you an allergic reaction. It's very similar to poison ivy. And in fact, when they named the oil that's in poison ivy, they named it after the Urushi oil. So the Urushi oil in poison ivy comes directly from this material. Of course, that's all in the manufacturing process. There is no way you're going to get a reaction to it once it's been cured. And originally, the red that was in the red Urushi came from cinnabar, which is also a very toxic substance. Am I selling this very well? I'm not so sure. But nowadays, it's usually Bengala clay, which is iron oxide. But once again, this is all locked in. There's no danger to you. But my wife, who is actually an Asian art expert, is very careful with the old red Urushi objects just to make sure that there's no cinnabar being transferred. So the Urushi is painted on, allowed to cure, and then painted on again, polished to an incredible shine and depth. It has a very, very interesting effect and color, which is what we aspire toward, that kind of beauty in a pen. I'm going to get more into that as we go along. You know, I have heard some people say that this kind of decoration is wasted on a pen that looks like red plastic, which I'll just challenge to be a bit of an oversimplification, to say the least. Let's look a bit deeper at this substance and see what the differences are. One of the major things is that plastic is highly reflective. It reflects a lot of light. It's very shiny. This seems to absorb some of that light, giving it a bit more depth and certainly much more warmth in your hand. This pen feels organic. It has that kind of almost wood feel to it. The way that the heat of your hand interacts with the substance. It doesn't feel like a barrier. It feels more like an exchange. And to me, the only plastics that come close to this look, this feel, are celluloid and bakelite. They have a bit of that warmth, but still, this is just miles above. I'll also say that in this fountain pen hobby of ours, some of the fun, at least to me, is doing the research on all the materials. And if I know a pen is made out of something interesting, especially something traditional that has a heritage that goes back thousands of years, that's a very compelling proposition. And this material is particularly interesting. And I'll also say I buy my pens for myself and to share with all of you. So for me, if something moves me, something inspires me, if it has a quality that I'm curious about and I really want to immerse myself in, it's hard for me to walk away from it. And I think that's also part of the incredible allure of this pen and the reason why I could not get it out of my mind those days I was out at Atlas Station or Sidewalk Sale. It was distracting me. So compelling, and I'm really glad I was able to get it. Another very compelling aspect of this fountain pen is the way it feels in your hand. It has a certain balance, and it feels much lighter than its 43 grams. And I think that owes to the fact that it's on an ebonite base. I love ebonite. It has such an interesting quality of its own. And then built up on it is this Urushi, which is just magical and interesting, and it just feels so good in your hand. And also, if we look at this aesthetically, these bands of gold and the bit of black breaks up the pen perfectly, and it makes it look a bit more like a business pen, perhaps a bit Art Deco with the flat top and the gold ring at the top. And of course, it has the custom series clip, similar to the Pilot Custom 823 with the big globe of gold at the end. It's a fantastic clip. Sometimes this pen is so tall that the clip doesn't work for my dress pocket at work. And that's an interesting effect. It's perfect for my placket, which is often how I wear this pen, but it doesn't sit in my pocket very well. Maybe that's a good thing. I mean, it is quite a long pen at 183 millimeters overall. It's about 140 unposted, which is how I use it. I don't post this pen. It fits very comfortably with the back just resting on my perlicue of my hand. It's very much a cradled experience, and it's really easy to guide this pen across the page. It's just a perfect proportion for my rather large hands. I don't have Andre the Giant hands, but I do have large hands, so it may not be the perfect pen for you if you have very petite hands, unless you enjoy a larger pen, which many of us do. The grip is about 12 millimeters across, so that's very comfortable for me. So from a comfort point of view, it's just perfect. And it has a bit of raised material, which I love at the end. I always need a bit of a break before the nib, even though I generally hold my hands higher on a grip, but I like knowing that there's a fail-safe at the bottom before I slide down onto the nib. But for me, often, my hand is where the threads are. Yes, this pen is for cradling as you make incredible scroll work of decorative cursive in an unending loop across the page. It's a pen you can be lost in the smooth and steady motion. And it has a very interesting nib, which we'll also get into. This is a Pilot number 30 two-tone 18 karat gold nib. It's glorious. It's large. I mean, this pen is big. The nib is large. It has a softness that I would say is similar to the Pelikan M1000. It's kind of that same kind of softness as you write with it. Now, I'm also a very light writer, so I don't often get the benefit of a soft nib because I try to write more in filigree, in faint little traces across the page without pressing too hard. Maybe this is because my first fountain pen I literally cracked in half by exerting too much pressure on. So now I try to be as delicate as I can. But of course, in doing tests with this pen, I can feel the flex. And it's a very nice experience. You don't necessarily get line variation from the nib. You do a little bit in how it's cut. It feels like a very straight shouldered medium. And you get a really nice downstroke with a lot of definition. And the fact that this has an never-ending line as you write with no skips or false starts. Since I've had this pen, it hasn't failed me at all, which is absolutely brilliant. So as you get those downstrokes, you get a bit more width, and then you get the wispy lines as you go across the page, straight or in a nice curve up or down. So it's really a beautiful experience. You get a lot of shading with your more shading inks. I currently have Kon-Peki in here, and it's giving me a wonderful effect. Now, this isn't all a glowing recommendation. There's one big area where I would take a lot of points off on this fountain pen, and that's in the converter. It has a Kon-70 converter, which is a fine converter. I mean, the little push button action is actually kind of neat, but this is a pen that costs $1,600 US. I would hope it would have a better fill system, to be honest. Now, there are benefits to having a converter. If something should go wrong, it's really easy to swap it out for another one. Super easy. But at this level, it would have been nice if there was a Kon-70 Plus made out of glass and metal. It was a bit more robust, that would last forever, or just give you the feeling that you're getting something premium. Of course, a piston fill would be actually brilliant too, but Pilot is not a huge fan of piston fills, as you know. In fact, it's only in a Pilot Custom 92. It's the only piston filler I could find in the Pilot lineup ever. And I've never even seen that pen between you and me. So it would have been nicer if they invested more in converters. And in fact, just take a minute and say that I wish every pen company did. If you were around in the 90s and the early 2000s, as I was in the fountain pen world, converters were really nice. They were often made out of glass and metal, and they were very, very robust. In fact, most of them are still around from those days. And I miss that when you just get a basic plasticky converter, even in a pen that you're spending quite a bit of money on. So if there was one area where I would detract, I'd say, Pilot, let's beef up the converter a little bit. Do something interesting and original with it. Just, make it out of more robust materials. Is that so hard? I don't know. But this does hold about a milliliter of ink, so at least it's not a Kon-40 converter. I guess we can say that. And there is a certain elegance to pumping in the ink. I do enjoy that. Makes it like a thirsty little pen as it's drinking up the ink voraciously, so that's kind of fun. So all these stats are fantastic, and they may mean a lot to you, maybe they don't, but what I think is more important is, how do you feel when you're writing with this pen? Who are you? How does it inspire you? while you go about your tasks with the Pilot Custom Urushi in Vermillion in your pocket. For me, this fountain pen is a revelation. It is an interesting, well-balanced writing experience with a wholly unique nib that has some softness and feels a bit like a calligraphy pen, as if you're doing your strokes and adding up into a beautiful painted experience with your letters and your lines, tying them into beautiful cursive knots as you make your paragraphs and progress through whatever writing project you're doing. To me, this pen has a swirling rhythm that never fails. There's no false starts, no skips, no sputters or fails in any way. It's just a trailing gossamer line of silken glossy thread tied into a tapestry of letters. For me, it's a bit intoxicating. It's certainly beguiling. It's a pen that I think about when I put it down. It's one I want close to me. It's one that's been in my pen case since I bought it. That's compelling. And why was it a Grail pen for me? Because it's $1,600 US. This is beyond what I usually spend on pens. Even with inflation and everything else, I really try to hold the line at $1,000 US. And even then, I am much more particular about what I buy. It has to be something interesting, something compelling. And the opportunities to find that are getting fewer. There's a lot of pens that are sort of riffs on the same theme, but this one is interesting. You get something unique. At least you get a value for what you're purchasing. It may not be enough value for you, and I understand that completely, and I would really appreciate it if you let me know what you think about that in the comments, because I love to get an idea of where your thoughts are. But for me, I love the materials. I understand that it takes a long time for the artisans to make this, so there's a cost to that. I also love this number 30 nib. I love how it makes these words so much more interesting with the shading, the feel of it. It's really, really interesting. And I love the dimensions and how it feels in my hand. And Pilot is a very compelling brand to me. I find their QC to be very sound at every level of the company. And it was really a thrill for me to be able to get to the top of its offerings. See, for me, when I write, I want to be inspired by every stroke of the pen, and for me, this fountain pen just does that. It just keeps me writing, keeps me engaged, just beguiles me with its beauty. Through the materials of this pen, I feel like I am tied to thousands of years of Japanese artistry, and it's just a perfect synergy with Pilot. So fun to write with. Such an amazing, beautiful pen that's keeping me inspired. But I'd love to hear what you think. Do you like the Pilot Custom Urushi in Vermillion as well? Do you have different reasons for finding it to be so interesting and so compelling? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. I'd love to have you on this journey with us. From the fountain pen, we go to some amazing places, and I'd love to have you with us. And if you want to support the channel even more, there's a membership group, and for Illuminati and Cognoscenti members, we have a pen pal group, so come on behind the scenes and see what's going on as well. So I make new videos all the time, and I have a live show each week as well, so I can promise you we will see each other again very, very soon, further up the road. So take care of yourself.